expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1780. 855-325-1780. That's 855-325-1780.
You're on.
You're listening to Fifth Street Sports on Sports Byline SB Nation Radio Networks. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports Talk, Twitter at Fifth Street Sports, and of course on the web at fifthstreetsports.com. If you'd like to call in or sound off, you have something to talk on a certain topic, you're welcome to call us in studio at 1-800-878-PLAY. That's 1-800-878-PLAY. Well, folks, this is our flagship show. We are now going to be on Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern every day. And we're very excited about our new show. I'm going to be co-hosting here with Oklahoma Brian. So you're going to be with two of the really guys that have been looking forward to this opportunity to talk to all of you, to keep, to have a lot of fun. But our main goal is we are going to start showing you how to have a good time, make money on sports, stop making errors and mistakes, and start making great plays if you haven't been making errors with all of our systems, ways. We have over the combined total almost 45 years of our sports betting and watching and stories and everything you can imagine. This is why we've been looking so forward to having this show 5 days a week, because if you stay tuned to us every day, you're going to have a lot of great information, a lot of great insights, great wagers, and most of all, systems and ways that will make you a profitable, strong player while enjoying yourself. It's been a long time coming, and we've been waiting for this opportunity to do it because we've really put our ducks in a row here on all of our, we have a lot of interesting ways on how to turn you from a non-profitable player into a very sharp, profitable player. One that, we can't wait till a lot of you start calling, you start calling us in and saying, now your limits have been cut down, you're on delays when you're betting, your bookmaker doesn't like you calling them. That's our goal here, is to make you into that kind of a player and listener. We'll be right back here right after our network.
iHeartRadio, an app so powerful, it holds 20 million songs from 450,000 artists, thousands of the best live radio stations, custom stations, and stations created just for you. It's anywhere and it's everywhere. Millions of songs, thousands of stations, one free app. iHeartRadio is that easy. Download the app today or listen online at iHeartRadio.com.
Attention to anyone that's written a book or wants to write a book. The process is not that complicated. Take a first step. Even if you write a page a day, you'll build momentum and your book will become a reality. The hard part is getting it published. That's when you need to call Page Publishing. They've got hundreds and hundreds of thank yous from different new authors, just like you. They make the process of publishing your new book and getting it sold online a simple process. You can learn how simple it is right now by calling for your free Page Publishing New Author Submission Kit. One quick 3-minute phone call, that's all it takes to get free information and learn how you can get your book published. Pick up your phone right now and call us 24 hours a day at this number. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. 800-603-0885. That's 800-603-0885.
If you or a loved one is suffering from a physical or emotional condition that has left you unable to work, then listen carefully. Take this number down. 800-593-7491. That's 800-593-7491. When you call, you'll speak with a Social Security disability expert and get a free evaluation to see if you may qualify for disability insurance benefits from the U.S. government. That's right, a monthly cash payment paid directly to you from the Social Security Administration. Whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied disability benefits, call now. The disability attorneys at Pinnacle Disability can help you build your case, file an appeal, and represent you at no upfront cost to you. Don't wait another minute to see if you may qualify for your Social Security disability benefits. Call Pinnacle Disability Group at 800-593-7491 for your free case evaluation. That's 800-593-7491. 800-593-7491. Call now.
When working at a growing business, you wear many hats. The new business hat, the buying toner for the copy machine hat, the sifting through tons of resumes hat. You can throw away that last hat thanks to Indeed.com. When posting your job, Indeed lets you add screener questions that give you a less time-consuming route to your short list of qualified candidates. So go ahead, dust off that extra long lunch hat. Hiring's better when you've got your short list. Save time on hiring when you post a job on Indeed. Get started today at Indeed.com/hire.
Welcome back. This is Fifth Street Sports, and you're speaking with Frank Perez, and I'm going to be co-hosting here these hours, Monday through Friday, from 1 to 2 Pacific, 4 to 5 Pacific, 4 to 5 Eastern, with my co-host, Oklahoma Brian. Brian, are you there? Let's say hello to the folks. This is our first show here.
Hey, how's it going, Frank?
Oh, there you are, buddy. Listen, I just introduced you because I was telling our listeners how excited we were about starting our new show, and it's going to be you and me, along with several guests every week. And why don't you introduce yourself and tell them? Well, I'm sure they all know you, but go ahead. Introduce yourself.
maybe not everybody. So yeah, I've been betting for about 20 years, and I've been in the industry from a variety of different angles, as have you. And I guess we started this summer, spring really, doing a weekend show. Had a lot of fun, and I think we're going to move into the fall. We'll do a show that's focused primarily on football, but we'll cover everything that comes up during the fall betting season. And from what I can tell, we've got a pretty spectacular group of guests lined up over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I was going to tell our listeners, every week we plan on having between 2 and 3 special guests. These are going to be people that are very interesting, but will help you tremendously in your wagers, way of doing things, money management, from A to Z when it comes to sports betting and making profits. On top of not being boring, like really interesting, fun people. I think, Brian, you have a few lined up next week, right?
Yeah, and I think the goal is not just to sit back passively and listen to people talk about sports betting, but we actually hope to engage the listener and maybe help you become, if you're an everyday bettor, maybe become a smarter bettor. Make more intelligent decisions. And even if you don't bet, I think the content will be interesting to you. You'll be able to maybe get a better insight as to how and why the market operates in sports betting. I hear a lot of people talking about sports betting and making statements that sound like they make sense but aren't necessarily accurate, and that's kind of where we will come in. I think we have combined about 40 or 50 years of experience in this industry, and I think a pretty incredible selection of guests. So,
well, that's exactly, Brian. I mean, folks, Brian and I were very passionate about this. One of the things is, as a sports gambler, or if you want to make money in sports, when I was in sports books, everybody, I don't know what they label you, but in a sports book, if you were a non-winning player /square, you were labeled an L7. That's because if you take a 7 and an L, it makes a square. Well, our goal here on this, and one of the things that we really want to do with all of our listeners is to take that away from you. We want you to start getting labeled sharp, profitable. And if no, but seriously,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was an L7. So
I didn't know that's what the L7. I've heard that term for years. I had no idea that was the origins of that.
Exactly, and I just wanted, like, our listeners every week. We just started today, and we're going to be on every day. We're going to bring you top of the line guests and speakers, and very interesting things. And one of the things that I really want to do, Brian, in this is to have all of our listeners not be L7s anymore. If you haven't been winning in sports, paying the guy on Monday, it's a lot funner to win. There's a lot less pressure. If you stay tuned with us, especially with you and I and the people that we bring in every day from at 1 o'clock to 2 Pacific, I guarantee you within a few weeks you are going to be a much different type of gambler and better. And we really want to make you a sharp gambler. And with Brian, I mean, what do you think with all the people that we know and all the systems and ways of betting? Tell me that's not possible.
I think that if you're really planning on betting real money in these markets, and I know that sports betting is becoming accessible to more and more Americans following the recent Supreme Court decision and rolling out of betting across the country. I think we're going to be going through a little bit of a sports betting renaissance here in the next 6 months. And if you remember what things were like during the early days of legalized poker, you're going to get a lot of what we call square money, or as you mentioned, L7 money, into these betting markets. And
right.
There's really never been a better time. If you have kind of thought about stepping up your bet size or maybe getting more involved in sports betting, this is going to be a really exciting year or two as these squares make their way into the market. And you, as the bettor, it's really incumbent upon you to understand what you're doing, make smart decisions, use teasers correctly, buy points when it's warranted to buy points, depending on how you're betting, market entry, right. Deciding whether you're going to be betting on at post time or when the openers come out. These are all really important topics, and I hope that we'll create a better, smarter, better with our listeners.
No, that's exactly right. Folks, that's what we're trying to do, is we want to create you into a winning player. So we're not just going to throw a bunch of games and lines and do this and take that. Let's get back down to the basics, because we're starting off a new season, and there's a lot of new bettors coming into the market, because this is going to be legal nationwide. So obviously, if you've been losing, you got to. I mean, please listen to us. We're gonna start finding for you a way to become profitable. That means that if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And we're going to teach you about sports betting, the mathematics, how to find the opening lines, when to pass on games, when to have value. We don't want you, but put it this way: if you're going to be a sicko and a degenerate and not listen to us and keep doing what you've been doing, then you might as well tune out now. I mean, just take your radio and go to an AM station or an FM station, because this right now, this station, this project that we're trying to do is, we really want the listeners to one day think, boy, I'm really glad that I tuned in all those hours and all that time to Fifth Street, because I learned so much. We made money. My thought process and my betting process is so much different now. And I'm really glad that I found that station and this company, FifthStreetSports.com. We want to make you a winning player.
Hey, Frank, I was going to ask you. I know over the summer I sounded a little bit like a broken record, but what did we say throughout the summer about this NFL preseason and how it was going to be unique from other preseasons?
Oh, remember, Brian? How many times did you go on the thing and tell them, when we were doing our show here on Saturday from 2 to 4, you kept saying how with these new rule changes and the secondaries are not going to be able to hit, and it's going to be a lot different, the passing. All you did was over. You said, this year is going to be over. And sure enough, the first week of preseason, what were the overs? How many of them came in?
It was insane the first week of the preseason, in particular the first half. I think there might have been only a couple first halves that didn't go over, and I think there were a few bad beats involved in a few of those first halves. I think off the top of my head, I can only think of 2 first halves that failed to go over during week 1. And, we knew this rule change was a pretty significant rule change. And we know the history of the NFL, when they have significant changes in the rules, they go out of their way to make a point of emphasis during the preseason. Yep. Well, this is a rule that favors the offense. Clearly, very offensive-friendly rule change. And you know that the officials are going to go out of their way to emphasize this rule change during the preseason. So when week 1 preseason lines came up, they were your normal lines.
Brian, hold that thought for 1 second, because folks, we gotta take a break. We'll be back in 3 minutes, and Brian is going to finish telling us about how we spotted this over trend. For the first week of preseason, especially when they were three points under. But folks, we will be right back. Tune in. Please stay tuned in to us here at FifthStreetSports.com.
It has been said that everyone has a book in them. But do you have the time or the ability to write your book? Maybe you picked up some skills or had a life experience that you want to pass on in the form of a book to help others. Maybe you want to leave an autobiography for your family. Or maybe you've built a successful business and you want to share your story. At Dorrance Publishing Company, we have professional writers who can help turn your book idea into a finished manuscript quickly and affordably. A Dorrance ghostwriter can provide as much or as little help as you need to complete your book. You'll work directly with your ghostwriter to finish your book faster than you ever could on your own. It's easy to become a published author. Call Dorrance now to learn more. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. Call right now. That number is 800-485-6003.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Call the CPAP hotline now. 800-430-4234. 800-430-4234. That's 800-430-4234. Copays and deductibles apply. Supplies are replaced in accordance with Medicare guidelines.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports here. Don Frank Perez co-hosting with Oklahoma Brian. This is our second segment here on the show. Now, when we left off the last time, Brian was telling us about the line values that we seen on betting the overs in the first week of the preseason football, how we thought they were way shaded under, and of course we did very well. I think there were 12-3 on the overs. Anyways, Brian, finish telling them what you were telling, how we told our listeners here so many times on the new rule changes and how they would affect the totals.
Yeah, so yeah, we nailed it. Problem is, there was a great opportunity to bet these games, and then the first night of the preseason, so week 1 of the preseason, which I guess technically is the second game because the Hall of Fame is the kind of the first game, but there was 12 games that Thursday night, and all but 2 of those went over in the first half. I think all but 3 went over for the game. By the next morning, the games for the following Friday, Saturday, and Sunday all got blasted up, by 1 to 2 points.
Oh yeah.
They were high also for week 2, and that's kind of where as we head into finishing up week 2 and head into week 3 as a gambler, this is a tough one because here we've identified a potential betting opportunity, but like often happens in sports betting, the market has reacted. Now our question is, as a bettor, how do we react? Are these totals too high for us to continue to play the over? Is there value on the under? And that's kind of what the point that we're at here as we are staring down at week 3.
Because remember, like the first week of the preseason, the totals from the previous year were actually 3 points lower than with the new rule changes, which is like, it was like stealing. And then, of course, you said the second week they reacted 7 points. So, all the games that were 34 and 35 were now 41 and 42. So now they're starting to cross, pretty tough numbers, 41, 42, 43. And like you said, I'm not sure now. I do believe that the value is gone unless they start getting carried away and they start jacking these things up to 44 or 45. Then we're going to start looking at the unders here because they might overreact when they see all these games. But Brian, on this segment, there was a thing that we were talking about, you and I wanted to tell our listeners how you had a very, very, because we're a couple of weeks away from football and we're going to start giving you angles and positions here, and one of them is right now. Brian, you had an angle or a potential profit with the situations with the New England Patriots. Can you fill our listeners in with that?
Sure. So this is as much as I love to find data and try to model everything I can, betting on sports is such a unique situation because we can't always use historical data. Kind of reminds me of this past year with the Mayweather-McGregor fight, right? There was no way to model that. That was just kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. There's a similar weird scenario unfolding. I know it sounds like a weird comparison to compare it to McGregor-Mayweather, but this Patriots team has done nothing but exceed expectations through the last 15 years, 15 to 20 years, however long Brady's been there. However, he is 41 years old, and this team is showing all of the signs of maybe a little bit of friction. Certainly the receivers aren't nearly as strong as they have been in the past. And I really think there's an excellent opportunity to fade the Patriots this year, not just in their win total. Their win total is very high. It's 11.5. And I know there's people, as they're listening to this show, yelling at the radio saying, yeah, we know, but that division is so bad. Who's going to step up and beat the Patriots? And the reality is, I don't know. I have an idea.
Well,
but what an incredible opportunity. If you look at the odds to win the division, the Patriots are now minus 10 to 1 to win the AFC East. And
boy, that's ridiculous.
Unheard of. It's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That's right.
But you did mention today that, okay, so now let's just say that at 10 to 1 to win that division, now we're going to start finding massive value fading the Patriots. But you did mention that you can almost you would eliminate the Buffalo Bills, though, right?
Boy, it sure looks like it. They're looks like they're on the brink of starting Jay Peterman or whatever that horrendous backup they have is. Of course, the A.J. McCarron, the starter, went down with, I believe it was a broken collarbone this week in the preseason.
Yeah.
So, they're looking at maybe starting a very, very raw rookie in Josh Allen or Jay Peterman. I guess his name is Nathan Peterman, but it's more fun to call him Jay Peterman, who's maybe been the shakiest backup in the league over the last year. And their running back, I mean, I can't say that I know for sure what's happening, but based on everything I've read, boy, it sure looks like this guy's either going to jail or going to be suspended for a significant amount of time.
That's true. So now that leaves us with the Dolphins or the Jets. That are, if we're going to cash this ticket against the Patriots, we're looking at the Dolphins or the Jets. Do you think they got a shot at stepping up and taking over this division?
Boy, at 10-1, I'll be betting the Dolphins. I personally, if there was a horse for me to back in this race, it's the Dolphins. But another great part about the preseason, get as much information as you can. Watch both these teams and get ready to pull the trigger when you think you've identified the team that has the chance to possibly outdo the Patriots. I know it sounds like I'm, there's probably going to be a lot of people that lay 10-1 and get away with it, but I know that you're not going to make a living in the long run as a gambler laying 10-1 or anything. So
no,
I
absolutely
think this is a phenomenal opportunity.
So we're going to be talking about.
By the way, if along these lines, when you're betting season win totals, it's interesting to point out, as if you're not already familiar with the NFL schedule structure, these teams in the AFC East are all going to play teams from the NFC North. So if you just think that there's nobody worth backing and it's all garbage, consider betting over on one of the NFC North teams because they get to feast on this weak division. Oh,
great! See, there's a great insight. Yeah, they get. That's exactly right. But so now, so we're going to be talking about, and especially every day until the season starts, about this kind of really juicy potential on maybe finding a way to extract some of this New England. What I think it's tremendously overpriced money. Now let's tell some of our listeners here, because a few of them were talking to me over the weekend, and they wanted me to ask you your take on teasers, using teasers in preseason football. What's your take on that?
I love this discussion. It comes up yearly, and I know a lot of sharp players that have very strong opinions on both sides of this. But the best way I could summarize it, generally speaking, with teasers, first of all, there's very few sports where teasers are profitable, but the NFL, fortunately, in this particular situation, the NFL is the number one sport in all of teasing. There's been kind of a bad rap that I think teasers get. They have a reputation of being a bet that's exclusively for squares and that sharp players don't play teasers. However, we know with the data we have that there's a particular type of teaser. We call it a Wong teaser, and we'll discuss it as the season unfolds. But it's basically using a teaser to cross key numbers in football. That teaser is a lot stronger when the total's lower. And there's other, situational things that make it more advantageous on certain sides versus others. But generally speaking, I think that teasers are a good idea in certain games. This year, I'm a little bit reluctant simply because of the games are averaging 40 points a game.
Right.
So I probably would take a wait and see approach for the rest of this preseason.
No, so now, folks, I mean, obviously, if you're new to the betting or just come on the market, the teaser, I mean, when we're talking about teasers, okay, teasers are where you get to use 6, 6.5, or 7 points. Let's say a 7-point teaser. So they give you 7 points, and you can use that on 2 or more games. So, for instance, if the Steelers are -9, you can make the Steelers -2. Or you can take whoever they're playing plus 16. But the only thing about it is that this is where, like he says, people give it a bad rap, but you can make money, is you got to hit 2 games. So let's say you got to lay $1.30 on a 7-point 2-team teaser. So you get 7 points in both games.
Yeah, that's a great price. Unfortunately, that price is kind of disappearing. So that's one thing you have to factor. Is your book giving you fair teaser odds?
Exactly.
And,
so but
minus 130 on a 7-teamer or minus 110 on a 6-teamer. I'm sorry, a 6-pointer.
Yeah.
Plus 180 on 3 teams.
Oh, that's
we'll pick it up, I guess, after the break.
That's phenomenal. But you can. We got to take a break here in a minute. But Brian, as you can tell, that's how you know how efficient the NFL markets are. That if they let you use 6 or 7 points, you can still hit 2 games and overcome the $1.40. That's how efficient they are. But
15 seconds.
We got just a few seconds here, and then we got to take a break. We'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to finish up our discussion on NFL teasers and another angle that Brian has found in college football.
Right now at O'Reilly Auto Parts, pick up 5 quarts of Castrol Edge or Valvoline Full Synthetic Motor Oil for $28.95 and get a $10 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card by mail. Protect your engine from sludge and wear with Castrol Edge and Valvoline Full Synthetic at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If you are age 85 or younger, call to learn more about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. Are you at risk of leaving loved ones to help pay your debts? A final expense policy for seniors can pay up to $30,000 for funeral and other final expenses. You don't need a medical exam, and you can have lifetime coverage, and the policy cannot be canceled. To receive free information about final expense plans from a licensed agent in the Angel Care Network, call now. You'll also receive information about a free prescription discount card just for calling in. Agents are standing by.
Call 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. 800-508-5774. Call now. That's 800-508-5774. Want to fly somewhere? Looking for cheap flights or cheap tickets? Then call. That's right. Call the low-cost airline travel hotline now for prices so low we can't publish them anywhere. Low-cost airlines has all kinds of cheap travel deals. Fly domestically and save up to 75%. You can even fly internationally and save even more. Yes, fly anywhere in the world and save a lot of money on your plane tickets. We'll even save you money with cheap travel deals on hotels, rental cars, even complete travel packages. So don't book your tickets until you call us first for the absolute cheapest prices on U.S. and international airline tickets and hotels. Call right now for prices so low they can't be published. Travel experts are here 24/7 to help. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. 800-754-4531. That's 800-754-4531.
Got an iPod? Into podcasting? Now you can get podcasts of all your favorite Sports Byline shows delivered right to your computer automatically, so you can listen when and where you want, as many times as you want, on your PC or on your iPod. Never miss your favorite show. Just go to sportsbyline.com and click on the Get Podcast button next to your favorite shows. Visit sportsbyline.com today.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. Here, I'm Frank Perez, and I'm co-hosted, and I'm going to be co-hosting here every day with Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. to 2 Pacific, 4 to 5 Eastern Time with Oklahoma Brian. We're going to bring you some of the top ways of making money, some of our great selections, picks, systems, ways. To our listeners, we on top of us mentioning to you or showing you what to bet and how to bet. We're also going to teach you what not to do. You know, because there's a lot of things, you know, like we were actually planning on writing a book one time because I've been in Vegas 54 years and I've got I can fill up a lot of chapters. The book was going to be called How I Turned $1 Million into 5,000. Now, if you know, a lot of the people that I've known, you can really learn or you can get great information on what not to do in certain things. So no, seriously. I mean, what not to do? You know, have you ever been to the?
Yeah.
Well, how many times have you been to the sports books here? I go to the sports book and you hear these guys that they say, oh, I've been betting horses for 38 years, 39 years. You got to take this, you got to take that. All these horse experts. If you follow them out to their parking lot, I guarantee it's like an '88 Impala. You know what I mean? With newspapers and McDonald's wrappers on the floor. So. I mean,
have you seen my? It sounds like you're describing my car.
No, but seriously, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can learn from people that win and people that don't win, and that's what not to do and what to do. So, Brian, wrapping up.
That's absolutely right. I was just going to say, you remind me of one of my favorite points, which is, I don't know about you, but have you ever made a bet, and as you're hanging up, you realize it's the wrong side, just the way the line doesn't move, the eagerness of the book to take your bet. That's I feel like that's my sixth sense.
Well,
I can smell a loser right after I place the bet.
Oh, exactly. And then I was going to say, listen to our folks. There's ways to make money on this. Even if you have a friend, like I have a friend who we nickname him the cooler. I mean, this guy, no matter what he bets or how he bets, he just loses. He finds a way. So we get picks from him because we bet the other side. So, I mean, they're just as powerful as winning friends or winning angles. When you find yourself a cooler, you don't make, you just hang on to them because they're going to think very square. They're going to think very square. So at least you get the angle of you don't want to go with the public. But anyways, I wanted to get back because we didn't finish up the last few minutes. And I gave, if you were just a novice bettor, I gave you how to, what a teaser means and how to use it. But as you mentioned, Brian, that's why teasers in the NFL are so much more powerful than the NCAA in college football or any basketball, because the lines and the efficiencies in these NFL markets with these point spreads are so good that using 6 and 7 points to use it and tweak it whichever way you like is so powerful. But you know how you mentioned to them on those, mention like on those Wong teasers, like those Wong teasers is go through the 7 and the 3. Those are the two key numbers. All right, we can do it. But how much stronger are when you go through the 7 and the 3 when your team is at home? Let's say a minus 8.5, and you take them down to minus 1.5, and the total's low. How powerful does that get?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The lower the total, the more powerful the teasing edge with your long teasers. And if you actually look at the data, right, there's 4 subsets we're looking at, which is favorite betting down under 3 on the road, favorite betting down under 3 at home, and then dogs, taking them from, say, 8.5 or from 2.5 up to 8.5, both with home and road teams. And, all 4 are profitable, but some of those subsets are more profitable than others. Like, for example, the road favorites, betting them from 8.5 down to 2.5 on a Wong teaser. Those are okay, but that's not your strongest, your weakest of the 4 subsets. So you try to maybe use less of those and more of the others.
Exactly.
And certainly the ability to use open teasers is one of the most underappreciated tools in in a bettor's toolbox.
Yeah, but I think with all the legalized sports books, especially here in Vegas and all over the country, they don't give you that open teaser opportunity. These are for the online players. If you're playing in an online book, sometimes they let you have an open teaser where you can use your 7 points on one game this week and then keep it for another future game. But like you said, so now there's 4 segments. Okay, so now we've identified how to use profitable teasers in the NFL. You have to go through the 3 and through the 7 one way or the other. But now you mentioned there are 4 segments of doing that. The weakest being the road team, taking them down from a 9.5 to a 2.5, or that version of it, is the weakest. Like you said, they all have equity in them, but that one is the least. What is the second? Let's do them in order. So that one is the least profitable. What's the second least profitable? Would you say, Brian?
So, I'm not actually looking at the data, but I believe the two strongest are road dogs going up, right?
Right.
And so, in other words, if you had a 2.5-point dog on the road, now you're getting 8.5 or 9 or something along those lines.
Right.
And then of course I think the second one would be the home favorite betting down. Now, one way to kind of measure how decent the teaser is for using in your particular bet is if we're laying, for example, at a 6-point teaser, you should be trying to find a betting outcome that's the equivalent of around minus 263 on the money line. So in other words, would that bet by itself be a profitable bet? If you could isolate that one single game, would you feel comfortable laying minus 263 on that? If the answer is yes, then it's worth using in a teaser. Typically, as a bettor myself, I use them sporadically in the preseason. I start off a little bit slow when the season starts, and by the time we get to the 4th or 5th week, it's a great bet. The rest of the season, from about week 4 to week 15.
Yeah.
And then they become even better in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, in the playoffs. Boy, the
weird.
books. I mean, the books just can't make the juice high enough out here. I know at the South Point or the other ones, they would like to take the 7-point 2-team teaser up to 180 if they could in the playoffs. But like you said, be careful. The first week to 3 weeks, you don't know who the real deal is in the NFL. And then of course, week 16 and 17, you've got some teams not playing starters because they're playoff positioned and stuff. But so let's make this declaration here to our listeners in the NFL. Now this is on the 6 and 7 point teasers. If you're not going through the 3 or the 7, I believe every other scenario is a loser. But Brian, there's one that I wanted to run by you because I've been doing.
Money, right.
You're just throwing away money. So folks, if you're not using your teasers going through the 7 and the 3 on 6 and 7 pointers, forget about it. Let's stop doing that. When you start taking a team from 4 up to plus 10 or from 8 up to plus 14, you're wasting your money because you have to hit 2 games and it's not there. But Brian, there's one I wanted to run by you. I've been doing a lot of data. A lot of them have, and now they even think that this one's even worse as a square, but it's not. The 10-point 3-team teaser, when you can lay $1.10 or even up to $1.20, believe it or not, I found a big equitable position on that. Let's say, for instance, you have 3 teams minus 10.5, 11, or 11.5. Their money lines are minus 475 to 540. Okay? Now, I'm saying that you can take those same 3 games that are minus 10.5 or 11 and tease them down to minus 0.5 or minus 1. So essentially, you have them like on the money line. If you take that same now if you take that same 3-team parlay on the money line minus 500, it works out to like 0.53. You know what I mean? You can take a 3-teamer minus 500, and it works out almost 2 to 1. Where meanwhile you can get you can use that 10-pointer, and you can get at 0.91 on minus $1.10 and 0.83 on or 84 or 83 on minus $1.20. So the 10-pointer does have equity in it, and there's one more. Now, what do you think about this one? And they told me that Billy Walters and these guys used to use this one.
Are you talking about the wraparound 3 to 3?
No, the wraparound 5 to 5 on the 10-pointer.
Boy, I
don't like it.
Honest, I haven't seen a lot of that.
Oh, but but there was a year that they said he made a ton on that. But going, from the minus 5 to the plus 5, I don't like it. I think stick with the ace-king suited and take your minus 10.5 or 11 or 11.5 down to a half or pick or -1. Yeah. But as far as that on teasers, boy, I'm getting a high sign here. I think we got just a few more seconds. We're gonna. We got 4. We got plenty of time. All right, so Brian, I'll let you take it from here. About to our listeners, let's get the final information. Is what we feel to do's or not to do's in NFL teasers.
I would say that as far as the NFL goes, I know that all of our listeners aren't going to have access to open teasers, but if you're planning to offshore a book, there's a good chance you do have open teasers, and that's such an incredible tool. I mean, I would take less odds to be able to use open teasers for all kinds of things you can do. And if your book doesn't have it, it's always worth asking. A lot of bookies don't realize how much of an advantage they're giving over to their players when they give them the open teasers. But open teasers, good prices, and a bettor who's very selective with the games that he's going to use, that's going to beat the book every year.
Oh, yeah.
And I know, it's...
But tell him about that, Brian. Like, why an open teaser is like, you might love one game this week to take it down from an 8.5 to a 1.5, but now you don't really like the other game. But with an open teaser, you get to put that in your pocket until you bring it out when you want, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Frank. Because if you don't have the open teaser, here's what happens. And by the way, all teasers are a little bit different in terms of odds. Like, actually, the teaser we described initially, which was the two-team 6-point teaser at -110, right? That has a little bit of profitability for the player. If you add one more team and you get +180, well, the theoretical hold for the player goes up substantially. And if you take it all the way to 4 teams at +300, now the player's got like a 15% edge if he's using it correctly with long spots. The problem is, let's say we have a week where we need 4 teams, but we only have 2 or 3 games that fit our criteria. What a novice bettor or square bettor will do is try to cram 2 other games that don't really fit the model into the teaser, and you're playing right into what the book wants you to do when you do that.
Exactly.
Now the other thing I would say is if you find 3 games that are suitable and you can't find a 4th, you've always got the option of using the Sunday night or Monday night game as your 4th leg, and then you can middle that back.
Right. Exactly.
That cuts out a little bit of the lost value in that 4th one. But the best situation is to have open teasers, and then you just fill them up with the appropriate games.
Oh, exactly.
And,
I mean, you get to. It's like walking around. You know what, Brian? We got to take a commercial break here, but we're going to come back when we wrap this up and finish. So we're going to finish this segment on teasers. We're only going to have a few more minutes, but we got to wrap this up here. Now we'll be back in just a little while. We got to pay. We got to pay the bills around here. So stay tuned, and we will be back in just a few minutes. Thank you.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services.
If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. One call to Wall & Associates, and your tax problems are solved. Wall has saved clients over $150 million in the last 5 years. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Remember, Wall has a proven track record with a total client savings over $150 million. Call now for your free face-to-face consultation. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940. 800-813-9940.
Hi, Rick Tittle here. You may know me as the sports talk host that can talk about all sports: football, basketball, baseball, hockey, soccer, golf, tennis, auto racing, boxing, Olympics, rollerball. But this time I'm here to talk about pain. If you have pain in your knee or your back like I do, then you should know about the Health Alert Hotline. If Medicare is your primary insurance, then you could qualify for a back or knee brace at little or no charge. I have an old injury from my football playing days, and anything that can help take that pain away and make it more manageable, that has my attention. I love the free delivery, and they take care of the paperwork for you. So if you have Medicare and need help for back, ankle, knee, or shoulder pain, please call the Health Alert Hotline at 800-428-1570. That's 800-428-1570. Agents are standing by 24/7, so go ahead and call now. 800-428-1570.
Hi, I'm Dr. Robert Clapper, Chief of Orthopedic Surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Group in Los Angeles, California. Dedicated to your health, your life, and your sports. As a weekend warrior, you know about sports injuries and pain. Exercise is an important element in keeping your body's core in good shape to minimize sports injuries. But when you are in pain, there is one product that I recommend to my patients, and that is Blue Goo Gel. Blue Goo consists of a proprietary formula developed specifically for the treatment of inflammation and general muscle aches and strains. I recommend Blue Goo for my patients coping with hip and knee pain before surgery, especially bursitis and tendinitis. Give Blue Goo a try. Call 1-888-330-0123 and you'll receive a 1-week supply of Blue Goo absolutely free. The makers of Blue Goo are even paying the shipping. The number again is 1-888-330-0123. If you want more information on Blue Goo, visit online at www.dothegoo.com.
Now available at select Big 5 stores near you.
Welcome back to Fifth Street Sports. Here, I'm Frank Perez, and we had our show here. This was our first show. Of course, I'm Frank Perez, and I was co-hosting with Oklahoma Brian. We touched on a few things. This, we only have so much time. The show goes by real fast. We touched on a few things on this show on NFL teasers, what to do, what not, 10-pointers, 7-pointers. So every day when we have our shows, Brian and I are going to bring you in the best guests that we have that have certain angles, all of our angles. If you stay on our show, every show you're gonna learn how to do one or two things or what not to do. But we're really looking forward to it. That was our show on teasers. And Brian, how about for our listeners tomorrow? What do you got in mind for tomorrow's show?
For tomorrow's show, topic-wise, well, I'd like to continue a little bit on the beginning of the NFL season, and I think there's some interesting opportunities potentially using round robins in week one, which is one of my favorite tools to use on the first week of any sport, also the last week. It's a tool that doesn't necessarily work in a lot of situations, but it's the ideal way to bet week one of any sport.
Round robins, okay.
So we'll get into that, and we'll talk about some opportunities with round robins in week one.
So now, just to wrap this, Brian, we talked a lot about on teasers on what to do and where they're profitable. Would you say that teasers in college football or NBA basketball are totally out, like for losers?
For the most part, I think SEC games using the side resembles an NFL game, but that's pretty much the only college football.
Right.
Like
in the NBA. Like if Alabama's playing LSU in a tough game and LSU's plus 2.5, you can get them plus 9.5. Folks, listen. The hour goes by so. Yeah. Brian, it was our first show. We had a good time. We're gonna get really, really good at this. Our listeners are gonna be really glad that they stay tuned in, listening to you and me. Believe me. Anyways, folks. So that's our first show. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 4 to 5 on the East Coast. It's Frank here from Sports Byline at all of our radio networks. And you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Fifth Street Sports, Twitter at Fifth Street Sports. We're gonna wrap this up, folks. Thank you. Thanks for listening.
USA Radio News. President Trump is hosting a salute to heroes for ICE and CBP, recognizing them for their dangerous work and what they do to protect America's borders. The president had some strong words for people in Washington.
We condemn the